Buddy, my name is James Clark. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today I wanted to discuss with you condensers versus dynamic microphones. Now, you rookie people that use YouTube all the time, you're probably thinking, James, what the hell is condenser dynamic microphones? Well, stay tuned, and I will explain. Needed a nice fancy intro. So basically, a condenser microphone picks up so much more and you have to use noise gates. That's not the way to go. Another thing with condensers, you have to EQ them. Now, let me explain to you the difference in between the two. A condenser microphone uses different capsules than the dynamic microphone. Now, the dynamic microphone, it's sort of a directional thing, so if you're in front of it, it's going to pick you up. And that's it. If I go to the side of this microphone, I'm not kidding, I just moved to the side. I'm, right at the side. I'm now at the other side, it picks me up no problem. Look, I'm even popping my peas into the side of the microphone with no pop filter. What the hell? If I'm using a normal microphone, or I should say a dynamic professional microphone, I should not have to pop my peas in the side. Now, that's not the way it goes in the professional world. The professionals of the world like to use what are known as dynamic microphones. Now, unfortunately, I don't have my dynamic microphone yet. I will buy it though. But basically, the dynamic microphone, it won't do this. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to the back of the microphone. Now then, this is only the back of the microphone, and if I say a word with a P, yeah, it picks up the plosives, it pops the P's, and it sounds horrible. The microphone even clips, okay? I gotta put my pop filter back on. There we go, it's back on. But the fact is, it picked me up no problem in the back of the microphone and in the front. Here's something else with condenser microphones, okay? Not only are they horrible with rejection, not only are they horrible with directions, because they pick everything up, if you wanted a decent sound, you have to EQ them. I have this microphone EQ'd right now. Okay, that basically means mixed, pump up the bass, pump up the treble, pump up everything, So you gotta pump up the low, pump up the mid and the high. And something else I'm noticing, as I sit here and record this, there's a horrible hiss. Now, you're not gonna notice it much because, I'll have music in the background, la-di-da-di-da, that's what I do. But you don't get that in a dynamic microphone, which is running through a mixer, or let me explain this, or something similar to the M Audio Fast Track, which is a USB to analog converter. My bad, it's the other way around. So you're taking the analog signal and you're sort of converting it into digital. Well, with the Heil system, they've got this new package, and as far as I understand it, this is, a little above my understanding, but somehow you're supposed to be able to plug in the microphone, which is analog, using the XLR connector, to this box, and it's supposed to then keep running analog, and I'm guessing that it runs off the computer's power because you're plugging it into USB. But somehow that's supposed to be analog. I don't quite get the details of that. That's a little beyond my understanding at this point in time. I may have to talk to a couple people to see if I can understand that a little better. Particularly Bob Heil. He's the owner of Heil Sound. Now, this is the company that I'm looking at to get my dynamic microphone. Now, let me explain to you what a dynamic microphone does not do. As I showed you earlier in this video, this microphone, it's the Blue Snowball, obviously produced by Blue. Okay, I'm not going to go into that detail. It's a USB microphone. It's a round piece of plastic. Yeah, it's really cheap. It's horrible. I have to EQ it to even sound this good, and I don't really care for the sound of it particularly right now because USB mics are just horrible. But I won't get into all that. But what I am going to tell you might shock you. Condenser microphones are not the way to go. You want to go with what are known as dynamic microphones. They do not pick up sound that is away from the microphone. So as I showed you, talking into the side of this microphone, I'm still being able to be picked up relatively clear. You just notice a tone difference simply because of the shape of the mic. if you run the Yeti Pro and you talking to the side of it, oh my god, there's barely any difference. You talking to the back of it, you put it on bidirectional or even omnidirectional, which are two very useless packages in microphone designing, in my opinion, anyway. But you put either of those patterns on, the microphone's gonna pick up back, side, and yes, front. Now, why the hell do you need all those different patterns? You just need one cardioid pattern straight in front of you. That's all you need. You don't need side. Now, people say, oh, well, Bob Heil, you're crazy because you want to eliminate all the noise and everything. No, he's actually a genius. And I actually agree with him that you go out and you look at all these bands and they're using condenser microphones. Hell, even radio broadcasters, I've been looking on the internet, even some radio broadcasters use the Yeti Pro by Blue. And that is a decent microphone if you've got noise gates like I do. I've got so many gates over here, it's not even funny. And I'm gating the hell out of this microphone because if I didn't, you'd hear a computer hum, you'd hear maybe the water tank, I don't know. But I'll guarantee you would hear so many things that you're just not gonna hear right now because of all my gates. I mean, that's not the way to do it. You shouldn't have to EQ a microphone to make it sound good. You should be able to run it flat. Now, I don't want a microphone that if I talk into the back of it, it's gonna hear me as clear as day. If you want that, go for the cheap condenser microphones, which in my humble opinion does not really belong on the face of this earth. Because, don't get me wrong, they're a nice cheap alternative, okay? I mean, I'll be honest with you, I've been a long supporter of the condenser microphones and, by Blue. I'm not going to deny that. But recently I was talking to some people and I realized dynamic microphones are the way to go, not condensers. I thought, okay, this is, cool, I've got a professional microphone, a lot of people use this, and it's true. A lot of people use the Yeti Pro, which actually did not work for my machine. It is incompatible with Macintosh, even though they tell you that it is, and it's only compatible with Windows because it's running Blue's driver. But there you go, okay? Now, a dynamic microphone, you plug it in, either, get the M Audio Fast Track, whatever. If you want to run USB, that's fine. Get a little converter and that's it. Or, even get a little preamp. Which, thinking back, I mentioned that I'd have to talk to Bob Hall about his microphone design. No, I just realized it's a microphone preamp that won't change the frequency or the pattern of the microphone. So there you go. It's still going to be analog. You're just using it as a preamp to get a little extra dBs out of your computer. There you go. And that's similar to what the M Audio Fast Track does. But basically, okay, you want to be professional. Don't go with the condenser microphones because, like I said, condenser microphones, they'll pick anything up. I can tap on my closet door on the side of the like almost a foot away from my microphone, and you can still hear it. Okay, I can move all the way over here. I'm at least 4 foot away from the microphone. And I'm barely talking any differently. I'm slightly raising my voice only because my noise gate's on, and it'll cut out. But there you go. If you do that with a dynamic microphone, and it's gonna go, hey, guess what? You're out of my range. Screw you. I'm not picking you up anymore. Gone. Clear out of the park. So there you go. I've seen a lot of stations they use the Electro Voice RE20 or some microphones out of the Newman series, mostly the R20 or something out of the Electro Voice. But there you go. Those are all dynamic microphones. I've seen a couple stations use the Yeti Pro, which also doubles as XLR. And again, it's horrible. It really is. It's a horrible microphone. I might actually no, I won't. If you go to my YouTube page, you will. There it goes. I'm using a pop filter. My P didn't pop, but yet my microphone clipped because the thing's just so sensitive. But anyway, if you go to my YouTube page and click on my review of the Yeti Pro, now I was praising that microphone up and down because that was the most expensive microphone I've ever bought. That was also the best sounding microphone I've ever bought. I've never bought a better sounding microphone than the Yeti Pro until I started doing research on this little company called Heil Sound. They're located out in Illinois. Okay, I cannot wait until I personally buy my Heil PR40 microphone, because that is a standard in radio broadcasting. Not as, famous as the Electro Voice RA20 or, even the Newman series, which again, I cannot recall any off the top of my head what they are off the top of my head, but the Electro Voices RA20, it's a really widely used microphone. That has been a radio legend for years. Oh God, since maybe the 60s. And then, you look at all these other companies, like Blue. And I'll be honest with you, the Blue mouse microphone is again widely used in professional studios, but here's the difference. That's a cardioid microphone, and that will pick up hammering. Hell, it'll pick up somebody swallowing. If I didn't have my noise gates on, you'd pick up my breathing, you'd pick up my swallowing, you'd pick up everything. Hell, you'd even pick up my computer's hum. And this thing, this microphone has rubber tits. I guess that's the only way I can describe it. Rubber tits on the stand. These little pads, they're really nice on the bottom of the stand because they are, hum resistant, but they're still there. They're not shock absorbers. I'll tap on the desk. Watch what happens. Hammering. It sounds like I'm hammering. I'm barely touching the desk. Really sensitive microphones, guys. So again, if you want to go professional, I recommend a dynamic microphone. Even podcasters. Okay, if a concern of, if you're in a noisy building, if you're, in just a noisy home, whatever, go for the dynamic microphone. Sure, it's a little bit more money, okay? But if you want to have the best sound possible, and I'll even go as far as to recommend a company, but if you want to have the best sound possible, go look up Heil Sound. Those are only dynamic microphones. They're not USB. They're XLR. And they'll sure beat the hell, and yes, I will repeat, they will sure beat the hell out of Blue microphones. I don't have a problem with Blue microphones because, again, for the longest time I was a big staunch supporter of Blue. But until I got to see the Yeti Pro, I was really psyched. And I saw the Yeti Pro, I'm like, I'm disappointed. The Yeti Pro was supposed to be their best microphone ever. And here it's this piece of crap that wasn't compatible with my microphone that almost sounded like the Snowball. Hell, it sounded better than the Snowball only because it was better quality, had a higher bitrate. That's it. Stop and think about that. A big professional microphone that's supposed to run XLR, headphone monitoring, all that. Here you're getting almost the same exact sound out of it. Besides, the fact that you can EQ it a bit better, and it sounds really good after you EQ it. Don't get me wrong. You put a few more dBs up there. You put them, you roll a little more onto the low end. You take a little off the high end, and you roll a little more on the mid end, and it sounds great. It sounds fantastic. It's also as sensitive as hell. So you gotta gate it, you gotta run limiters, you have to do all kinds of acoustic gating, and I started going on the internet and I said there has to be a better way, because I went and returned my Blue Yeti Pro recently, and I said there's gotta be a better way, because I will not cut promos with this Blue Snowball anymore. And I've been looking at Heil Sound for a long time, but it never occurred to me. Go out, get the M Audio Fast Track, and plug in the Heil PR40. Go out and buy a PR40, and then that's it. You're done. But that never occurred to me. And here, I just got offered by Bob Heil to beta test a product for him. So I may very well take him up on that offer. Hey, if I don't have to pay for anything and I'm testing something for Bob Heil, you know, the world's best microphone designer, yeah, I'll give it a whirl. What can it hurt, you know? I don't like paying for things, but, you know, hey, at least I can get a discount through Amazon for the microphone. Then call up musician friend, hey, I found a price on Amazon for this product, and can you match it with musician friend? Sure, no problem. So I can deal with real people and get a lower price than custom. I love it. So just to recap, if you want the world's best quality, go for a dynamic microphone. It does not pick up a lot because, again, I'll show you one more time. If I was using a dynamic microphone and I went to the side, you would not hear me as clear. Now, let me just, you know, show you real quick. I'll take off the pop filter entirely so I can get, you know, exact access to it. Here, I just took off the pop filter and I'm popping my P's in the side. How the hell? How's that supposed to, you know, happen? How, you know, how can people call this a microphone, people? How can you call the Blue Snowball a microphone? It's a decent microphone if you're into, you know, low-grade quality stuff. I've been saying that for, you know, forever. But you know, I've really seen the error of my ways lately. I've gone through 3 condenser microphones. The Yeti Pro, the Logitech Clear Chat headset, and this microphone. 2 out of the 3 don't work. Use common denomination, figure out which one works, and I'll tell you this: the one that does work, it needs tightened up every 2 months. It's pretty much falling apart. I mean, come on. Oh, jeez. So there you go. You want decent sound, go for the dynamic microphone. If you want, you know, okay sound and you don't mind having to EQ the heck out of a microphone, go for the condenser microphones. But, you know, I like USB, you know, as a standby. But that's pretty much it. I will not use USB in a professional application anymore. I tried. I've been turned down. I've never been responded to by certain stations. I've just been, you know, flat out told, hey, you know, your read could have been improved if you would have went, you know, with a different microphone instead of the one you're using. Yeah, I've had the book thrown at me. So take that into consideration. You know, if you're doing voiceovers or broadcasting, both, you know, that I do, and you want that big radio sound, you know, you can tell, you know, if I raise my voice or, you know, choose to have the deep read of God, I can do that, and I have no problem doing that. But it doesn't sound as great through this pissy little condenser microphone, rather than if I do this, put reverb in my vocals, and talk into a Heil PR40. I'd have a, you know, so much different sound. It would sound so much better. Because let's just face it, reverb is awesome, it's cool, it's spiffy, it's jazzy, for certain applications. Some musicians put too much reverb on their stuff, but that's another rant for another time. Some reverb applied in certain applications are cool. And, you know, for music it's good too, and for some voiceover work it's too flashy. Other times it's appropriate. Most of the time it's inappropriate. But sometimes when you're just having fun and a little reverb helps a lot. So there you go. A little bit of reverb helps a great deal in the voice of God. So, yeah. So, again, dynamic microphones are the way to go. I prefer Heil, but there's a lot of, you know, companies that make dynamic microphones. Sure. Sony and many others. Now, if you want a list of condenser microphones, which is what I've unfortunately been fooled into using, by my own fault, my own admission, I can name a lot of companies that make condenser microphones: Blue, Sony, Apple, And yes, the unnamed Logitech. So there you go. Yeah, stay away from condenser microphones. I've seen condenser microphones come and go. Dynamic microphones, hell, there are stations that are still using the RA2020s from 50 years ago, and they haven't had them replaced. I went through 3 microphones in 2.5 years. Do the math. There you go. Alright. So, for professional sound, I'll say this one last time. For professional sound dynamic, for cheap-ass, crappy sound like this, condensers. And for more on my channel and the bluntness of truth in regards to audio, you can visit my YouTube channel or follow me on Twitter. Here's the information for my Twitter. Twitter.com/JamesClark13. That is Twitter.com/JamesClark13. For my YouTube page, YouTube.com/JamesClark131. One more time, that is YouTube.com/JamesClark131. And don't forget to hit that little like button or that little button that says subscribe, or even the friend button. I'll be more than happy to subscribe to you back or become your YouTube pal. I'll have no problem with that. So, there you go. This wraps up another video of my ranting. Yes, I am very famous for my rants, but a lot of my YouTube videos got tons of ranting. But there you go. And like I always say, guys, peace, best regards, Semper Fi, and 73s.